Time right now is about 5 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock, and you are listening to WSCA-LP Portsmouth Community Radio. My name's Shawn Henderson. Name of the show is Stay Tuned. And as I said, each and every Friday I do have live in-studio guests, and today I am lucky enough to be joined by Whiskey Kill themselves, or at least a portion of Whiskey Kill, the duo.
Nice
Tom,
to be here,
Ferry.
Shawn.
My pleasure. Hit that. Seems like every TV show, we're also doing, I want to welcome everyone to the television show as well, but every show, it always starts with me going, hold on, hitting that button.
Push a button.
So, but anyway, welcome, guys. Can you talk once again just so I can hear you?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. Well, welcome to the show. First time here for you guys, so that's good. And I've been very excited about it because I became a fan of Whiskey Kill. Well, not too long ago, actually. You know, I just sort of discovered you somewhere along the line. I don't know how that happened, but I was
Sure.
when I first discovered you, I was like, "Man, this is
maybe
great."
it was on Disgrace Book, or maybe
that might have been it. Yeah, so we share a page. But anyway, so I fell in love with the album, and I fell in love with the sound first, and then you sent me the album, and it was just great. So congratulations. Yeah. So what I think I'm going to do, if you guys don't mind, is let's start with something live, and then we can come back and chat about whatever you want to chat about.
And John Cortez here said he wanted to play Pissed Off Betty, the title track of the album.
All right, sounds good. Let's do it.
You want to count?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Skinheads drinking 40s down the alley near the club. Social D was playing down on Sunset Boulevard. The lowrider came rolling from the east side of Barrio. Bottled red-haired Juliet, but this was no Romeo. Loaded up, alright. Don't stick your nose into a fight. So Pissed Off Betty might make it your last night. Boots and broken bottles, boys jump to her raid. But hell can't stop the fury as they drag her man away. She fought them off tooth and nail. Yeah, that chick was crazy tough as she hopped into that demon ride and fired that motor up, loaded up. Alright, don't stick your nose into a fight. So Pissed Off Betty might make it your last night. Sparks against the pavement, nothing in her way. The bodies flew like bowling pins, but she never hit the brakes. Another LA homicide, the cops arrived too late. Bloodstains on that custom grill, another night of hate. Loaded up, alright. Don't stick your nose into a fight. So Pissed Off Betty might make it your last night. Loaded up, alright. The last night is those dashboard dice. But Pissed Off Betty has made it your last night.
Yeah.
Finish.
Yeah, big rock ending.
Nice, very nice.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was. How should I just say this is Whiskey Kill in the studio?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's cool. Cause
Yeah.
Because it is basically. I mean, you guys. Well, basically, you're Whiskey Kill at this point.
Yep.
It was your brainchild.
And Alyssa.
And
Williamson.
Alyssa.
Absolutely.
Alyssa is your wife, and pretty much everything.
Yep.
In the Whiskey Kill business.
Yep.
I see her on Facebook all the time, and is she the person that designs all the T-shirts and stuff
she
like
does
that?
all the design work.
She's amazing.
She is amazing. She is an amazing promoter, and we write the songs together, at least the core, and then we bring it to the band and we arrange it as a group, really.
Mm-hmm.
But no, all the designs and all the promotion and all the phone calls that need to get made, that's Alyssa. She is, I'm just going to say it, she is no Yoko Ono. You know, right, straight up. She is part of this band.
Right on. Well, that's good.
She's the opposite. She makes the band go. She
Right
doesn't
on.
bring the band to a
She
crashing
doesn't bring
halt.
it to a crashing halt and end all the creativity.
Absolutely not.
Well, I have nothing bad to say about Yoko, actually, but that's, I mean, she did good for John, but.
Right, there's a misconception, really.
Yeah, but we're talking about Alyssa, and she's amazing. and what I like about her is what I like about the band and about the style of music you play, it has a sort of a persona in itself. I'm not sure if that's the right word. You know, there's the rockabilly scene, the rockabilly sound, and there's also the visual that goes with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that? I mean, am I making sense
No,
there?
absolutely. I sort of have thought I wear the leopard skin jacket,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and slick the hair back and everything. Then I just sort of decided to keep it sort of.
Yeah, we're in the radio. We're
in the
on the radio here. You know, so.
Yeah.
But as a general rule, you guys present yourself. I mean, not only do you present the music, you present yourself as the music in a way, right?
Oh, it's absolutely a product.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike other bands that I've been in and fronted,
Mm-hmm.
where certainly image was important, but we were in like post grunge, shorts and
Right.
and combat boots and the flannel shirt tucked around, wrapped around
Mm-hmm.
our waist, and it really was all about jeans and T-shirts. And now it's really much more about an image,
Mm-hmm.
and really paying homage to the masters,
To the people that have come before you, right? And-
Absolutely, I couldn't imagine not having that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The voice, everything.
Well, I think that one of my favorite things about the people, well, I really admire people that would go that extra step to. I mean, you could play rockabilly without going into that. I mean, you could pay homage to all the greats without sort of dressing the part.
Right.
This is personally speaking, I love that. It just goes that extra. It goes that extra mile. And as a fan, when I'm out in the audience, when a performer is willing to sort of get into character in a sense. It just means that much more to me. It really does. I think it makes for a better live show.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So
Now, logistically, sometimes it's complicated. It's one extra thing I got to carry.
Yeah, right.
I have to have the trailer with my wardrobe in it. But yeah. It's part of it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. And we were talking off air that this is you mentioned briefly about the bands that you were in before. You were kind of a rock and roller for coming up, and this is kind of sort of a new thing. You've gone into a different musical direction, and this is really brand new for you.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, back in 2010, really 2 years ago, I had started writing a bunch of songs. For this project that were more alternative country, more alt folk, you might say, and we started out playing those, and then slowly we sort of morphed. I remember being in the kitchen playing the bit to Better Man for Alyssa, and she was like, "That's really cool. Let's work that. Like what do you got? What do you got?" And and that was like one of the first songs that we had ever written together, and it went over really big, much more palatable than the other stuff. I mean, the other stuff was very creative, and it wasn't that it was awful stuff. It was just more marketable and more palatable, and so we were like, this feels really good, and I can't begin to tell you how comfortable I feel playing this kind of music.
So it was. I'm just wondering how the sort of the transformation into Whiskey Kill began? Was that it? Just because it felt good?
Yeah.
And how did how about, because as we talked about, there is a visual thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing involved in this. How did that come to be? When did you make that decision? We're gonna go all out here.
We're gonna go Rockabilly. Yeah, it was that and the RPM challenge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Alyssa and I wrote a bunch of tunes together for that, which sort of was a jumping off point. We might have pulled out 5 or 6 of those, and then slowly, some stayed, some went, but it was the RPM challenge too that was the impetus for the Whiskey Kill in that you see now,
right?
Rockabilly, as opposed to alternative country,
right?
And that was it. That was about, I guess, 2010 and the RPM challenge. So it's really only 2.5 years old. I started the band in 2009, I guess.
You started the band Whiskey Kill in 2009 without so much the Rockabilly.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you haven't been around too long.
Nope.
It is all brand new. That's good.
It's totally brand new.
Right on.
Yeah,
Well, it
which
sounds
is great.
too.
We waited a long time to get the CD done, too. Whether it was just financial or.
Which is usually the case.
We were doing a lot of gigs too.
Oh, yeah.
We gig a lot. We would take just about any gig we could get at first. That's how it is.
Right.
Some went over well and some didn't. And then we decided to make the record last fall, really right around this time with John Nolan.
Right. Well, why don't we do another live thing? We come back and we talk about the about the recording process, working with John, and just the sound, whatever you want to talk about.
Awesome.
Actually. How's that?
Awesome. What do you want to do, John? Nickels and dimes?
Sure.
All right. This one is actually going to be on our next record, which we go into the studio next month for. So this one's called Nickels and Dimes, about Chuck Berry.
Ready?
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. This business of nickels and dimes and poses. Turn your back, man, they're gonna rob you blind. Hey, you're rolling to town with guns for hire. Give them the heat, the thunder and fire. If you wanna get paid, you better play Johnny Be Good. Keep your eye on the cash, one boot on the back. You're one-eyed Jack, and you better not turn your back. The same old tune for 40 years, but we just want you to sell some beer. But this here road ain't no promised land. Here the show goes on, and you get older while the girls backstage are someone's daughters. Now you're laying down hits on the bricks of the prison wall. Keep your eye on the cash, one boot on the back. You're one-eyed Jack, and you better not turn your back. Here's where the horns would be. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. This business of nickels and dimes and poses. Turn your back, man, they're gonna rob you blind. Hey, you roll into town with guns for hire. Give them the heat, the thunder and fire. If you wanna get paid, you better play Johnny Be Good. Keep your eye on the cash, one boot on the back. You're one-eyed Jack, and you better not turn your back. Keep your eye on the cash, one boot on the back. You're one-eyed Jack, and you better not turn your back. You're one-eyed Jack, you better not turn your back.
Nice. Nickels and Dimes, the name of that song. Whiskey Kill. the Whiskey Kill duo live in the WSCA studios. Absolutely fantastic. Tom Ferry, sort of the mastermind behind Whiskey Kill. We were talking a little bit about when you first got together. You started it in 2009.
Yeah.
And you recorded an album. Was that, when did you record the album?
Well, we recorded the album, I guess, last year, which was 2011.
2011.
The end of the year, but it released
earlier this year.
Early this year. So on the books, it's this year.
Right. And that band, the people that sort of got together to record that album, Pissed Off Betty is the name of the brand new album. Which is fantastic too, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
The people that got together to record that album, and you had toured for a while with them,
Yes.
are basically no longer with the band. Is
Correct.
that correct?
Yeah.
So tell me about that core of people. A little bit about making the album, and then maybe we'll go into where Whiskey Kill is heading and the current band members.
Yeah. Well, we what a bunch of people that recorded. We've had some other band members even before that along the way. What can I say? Bruce Hilton, amazing musician. His contribution to the band was absolutely, irreplaceable, really. He added the pedal steel. He did a lot of arranging, too. We'd be in practice, and he'd be like, hey, try an F sharp there, And it was a joy to work with him. He's an unbelievable musician. Great. Yeah, and he's a great guy, too. And then Shawn Henderson, who's with Northern Roots, Mike Taro's band.
Oh, okay.
He came aboard, and that started, I started to put these down in his studio. His studio, Eric Ott just did his record there. Right now, it just totally escapes me. Bolt Hill.
Oh, no.
The Bolt Hill studio. Little plug there for you, Shawn.
Right on.
Yeah. It over in Elliott. And then we needed a guitar player. And he was like, yeah, I'm digging it. So he jumped right aboard, actually as a fill-in for one night, and then it just became what we needed. And he's another great monster musician.
I don't know him. I don't think I've ever met him. So.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. He just recently moved down to Boston. But good guitar player. And lucky, Greg Zano, who was with the Digby's. He was
as well as Bruce. Bruce and Greg were both in the Digby's.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was great. And working with John Nolan was awesome.
So you went over to John Nolan's studio and record. That's where you decided to record the album.
Yeah, we did it in 3 days. And
what made you decide to use John? Do you mind me asking?
Oh, not at all. Well, I'm a huge Say Zuzu fan, So we wanted somebody local who also was really kind of in our pocket range, And John's all about the live recording, and so we'd had some conversations earlier, and I'm like, and Girls, Guns, and Glory recorded their stuff there, and I'm a big fan, and I love the organic sound that he was able to get out of those guys. So it was a natural thing to choose John. And he's a great guy. And he's really.
It does. I mean, it does seem like a natural fit. I mean, I love John's work. I love his. Almost anything he's done. Everything he's done.
Oh,
really.
absolutely.
And I love his solo stuff as well. And of course, his work with Say Zuzu. But as far as a producer goes, he seems to really have an ear for what the band is. You know what I mean? And he always I'm never in the middle of the process, but he always seems to bring out the best in whoever's who he's presenting.
Absolutely. He right from the start he said, "Well, you guys are a live band. I don't want to kill this. I don't want to kill what you guys have." So there was no doubt in his mind that this was going to be a live recording, and every single one of those tracks are tracks that we chose. But they're all live takes, all with isolation. We were really able to get true isolation. I had never thought that was possible. I thought there would be too much bleed, but that's how the old masters really did it too. Single take recordings, and I'll never forget the first album that I ever did. Sounded great when I was in Smoke Up Johnny, and it was very, very well produced. But there was something. And maybe it's just because I, was in the room and I, doing all those takes and everything was done separately. It sounds great, but there's something missing, and I think that's what the live the live process was really, really the way to go.
Oh, good for you. So that
Yeah.
was now. What was the what was this? Was there anything scary about that when he presented that to you? I mean, because with Smoke Up Johnny, you had the recordings you had made up to that point. You hadn't done the live.
No, it was all tracked stuff.
Right. So is that
stuff I
what
did
did you
with Dave at the
eagerly
Marines.
jump into when he said, "Let's do this"? Were you saying, "Okay, great"?
Oh, I do, because inherently I really don't like to record. I prefer a live performance, but it's a necessary thing
Right.
that you have to have.
Got to have the
recorded
product,
material.
right?
And so anything that can make that an easier and more organic process, I'm in. I'm down.
So 3 days in the studio.
Yeah.
And now was that? Did you go in with everything? I mean, how prepared were you when you got to the studio?
Oh, well, we were very prepared.
Yeah.
We had been gigging out, for a long time. That whole year was just, we were gigging practically every weekend, sometimes it was tough for the whole band, but we would constantly tell them, we've got something in mind here. We're onto something here, and we just want to get out and play as much as possible. It's really a big part of our social life, but these guys plowed through, and we did a lot of gigs. And they were amazed too. I think they surprised themselves too. We all did. We came into the show like, we know our stuff now. We really know our stuff, which made it fun.
Right.
So if we wanted to try something different, we could. I remember there's a lost track called Greensboro, which is more of an alt country kind of feel. But we decided to put it on tape because John said, "What else you got? We got time," because we had nailed stuff, and so we laid down Greensboro. It never made the album. My voice was at that point too tired. That's I think the scary part for me was, will my voice hold up, and because I sing from my all throat. I don't take it from down here, so it's really, I do a number on my voice.
Well, it sounds good. I think
Thanks.
the album sounds good, and your vocals sound strong. So
Thank
either you were strong in the studio, or John captured some strength that you had
The man.
for however
John
long you had
Henderson,
it.
the man. Did you catch the reunion? The Say Zuzu reunion that they did?
I didn't see him over there. I actually had him in the studio though. The band came in here, and
really?
right
Oh, and
actually
Cliff was
before
there.
before they went up. Yeah, and Cliff was in too.
Yeah, we haven't made the sign of the cross here.
Yeah. We're big fans of Say Zuzu and John
yeah.
Nolan here for sure. Time right now is about 27 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock. We're live in the studio with Whiskey Kill, and they do have some shows coming up. You're going to be performing with Reverend Horton Heat. We'll talk about that. Let's do another live thing. We'll come back. We'll talk about that. And you alluded to a new album that you're going to be going into the studio and recording, even though the new album Pissed Off Betty is the new album.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that as well. And
Sure.
And whatever. Else
Yeah,
you
we'll
wanna
talk about the new album. Maybe we'll do something that's going to be on it, but it's kind of an old song, that we've been playing for quite a while, but it's going to be on this new record, and this one is called Wrecker. It's a truckin' tune. Want to count it in, John?
Yeah.
That's your thing.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Trouble on Highway 69. Big race gone across the line. Honey, don't run me off the side. That black ravine's no place to me tonight. Wrecker. Mountain pass by the dark and wine. You're waiting there, make it home on time. White line fever has got me driving blind. Shifting gears towards Reno's lights. Next stop ain't for 40 miles. I wish I had thought to put the chains on tight. Trouble on Highway 69. A big race going across the line. Honey, don't run me off the side. Black means no place for me tonight. Wrecker. Here we go. off is gone, so damn tired. 18 wheels, spin on ice. Jackknife, truck and steel and spot. Called you up, said I'm alright. Some man's voice, now that ain't right. Damn record, can count on you tonight. Trouble on Highway 69. Oh yeah, I said it. A big rig's gone across the line. Honey, don't run me off the side. Black ravines, no place for me tonight. Trouble on Highway 69. A big rig's gone across the line. Honey, don't run me off the side. Damn record, you broke my heart tonight. Damn record, you broke my heart tonight. Record damn near killed her. That never stops being funny.
I like it. Whiskey Kill live in the WSCA studios. A song called Wrecker. Time right now is 4:31. Thank you guys. That was awesome.
Thanks.
What did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about. Well, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. We had talked about the band, and John, you've been just over there very patiently, just standing there, just killing on the guitar.
Well, I was going to harmonize all Tom's answers,
Yeah.
but I thought that was annoying.
Well, that would have been good too. So why don't we either Tom can introduce you or you can introduce yourself, but you are playing guitar here with us today.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. How'd you become? We talked about Bruce and all the other guys that had recorded "Pissed Off Betty," the debut album from Whiskey Kill. Now we've got a new, sort of a new group of people that you've formed.
Yes.
You're going to the studio in December, and John, I'm assuming you're one of those guys.
Hopefully, yeah, so far.
All right. So how did you get involved?
Answer carefully, John.
Yeah.
Tell me, what's the flux? What's the design of the flux capacitor?
I can draw you a picture.
Excellent.
Well, I ran across an ad on the internet that they were looking for a lead guitar player, and I answered the ad, and a month later, I finally got in the band. And
So what did the ad read? Tell me what the ad read.
I believe it said original rockabilly band from Portsmouth area seeks lead guitar player.
Okay.
Must love Twinkies.
So, and I really I checked out the Pissed Off Betty record on iTunes, and really just it was right up my alley. I loved every song on it, and made sure I learned them all before I went over to Tom's house.
Yeah, good idea.
did.
Good thinking.
He did. He nailed it. He had known every song.
Nice. That must have been impressive.
It was really. He wanted the slot.
Right on.
For sure.
So how did you tell me about your history, musical history. Where were you before, and why were you looking? And
I've been bumming around in cover bands since I was about 17 or 18. This is really the first original band I've been in.
Oh, really? Good for you.
So it's a really cool thing to be in.
Mm-hmm. So you seem to have fit right in. Tell me about the other members of the band, and because they're all new, right? I mean,
yeah, they're
besides
Boston.
yourself.
They're Boston guys. And we have Jose Solozano, who has been with the band from the very beginning. He's the only other member. He is. He lives in Framingham, and he moved here from Venezuela. Well, originally he's an American citizen, moved there as a young kid, but moved here only about 3 years ago. And Alyssa was his ESL teacher, and found out that we were doing a band, and we got along real well. And he's amazing. Comes from metal, but so he bought an upright bass, and taught himself, and he's a monster on the thing.
Nice.
Yeah, and he's a great guy. And then we have Mike Demers, who lives in Somerville, and Mike comes to us from the Knuckle Dusters, which was a Boston rockabilly band, more of like a swing. They had horns, like a swing kind of thing, and they had kind of broken up, and so he was on the market. A friend of ours said, "Hey, talk about this guy," because that's what it's all about,
right?
Especially in our niche.
Yeah,
we find that we play with a lot of the same bands and a lot of the same players. It's very much family-like, and so we make the calls and say, "Hey, who do you know?" Blah blah, And so that's
So it all
the
seems to be
band.
fitting well, and you talked about you're planning on going into the studio
Fantastic.
here pretty soon.
Yeah, we're gonna be going into the studio early December here with Kevin Patey from the Raging Teens, and that's going to be a devotion recording. I believe that's in Everett, Mass. And same idea as what we did with John, and that's going to be
Why the switch?
Well, I think because the same kind of idea when we heard John's stuff. We loved the organic nature and everything. Well, now we've taken it to the next step. It was a natural progression when we leaned up and we just have the one guitar now, not the pedal steel.
Oh, I see.
Less
Yep.
country, more rockabilly, more of that old time feel. And Kevin's recordings just blow us away. Absolutely, it's got that slap back.
Right.
So it's just really kind of it's a simple thing we want to try. We want
Good,
to try
yeah.
this Kevin down and logistically speaking, it's actually easier for the rest of the band. Getting them up here for 3 days, or actually most of that weekend.
Yeah. Okay. So is that what the plan again? Is a 3-day excursion into
Something
the studio?
like that. Yeah, we actually we're only booked in for 1 day, but we're calling it demo day, but we're actually anticipating that's going to work. But if we like everything that's going on, we like the feel, then we're going to book more time.
Nice.
So.
All the songs already written.
Oh yeah,
All right,
yeah.
good.
Songs have been written. We've been playing them out. We've got one song that we haven't really. We're gonna probably debut tomorrow night that's we really desperately want on the album. It's called Chainsaw Steve and the Skitter Queen.
I like the title.
It's kind of that the little bit of that hillbilly
Right
kitsch
on.
that we like to mix in now and again. It has a little bit of a Cajun feel. So we really haven't forgotten like the country roots. Because when we started, man, we were doing country fairs. Like we did a rodeo in New York, which was really cool. We did a rodeo over in Hopkinton Fair with that pedal steel, man. We were catching both the rockabilly gigs
Right on. So, yeah,
and
you're-
the country gigs. We were being like eyeballed by the New Hampshire Country Music Association for their gigs and stuff like that.
That's good. Keeps you busy, whatever works.
Yeah,
But-
and so yeah,
Right.
that's pretty cool.
No, geez, I just blew whatever the question I had. I just lost. It went out of my head. You were talking about the family part of it,
Yeah.
And rockabilly seems to. I'm not sure if it's making a resurgence or if I'm just paying more attention because it's coming at me. I've been introduced to a couple of new rockabilly bands, and I love that. And when I first started to hear different bands playing it, it was a little bit surprising to me because it isn't something that I had heard really out and about. On a regular basis anyway. Every now and then there'd be someone that would pop up and play, but it seems like that family, if you mentioned the word family, it seems like that family's growing and people are really getting into it nowadays. And I'm just wondering, so have you found that to be true?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, Elvirus from The Outsiders. It's more of a psychobilly band. But he loves all that traditional stuff and plays some of that. He has a great saying. He says, everybody loves rockabilly. They just don't know it. So it has a real wide appeal.
It really doesn't. It goes back so far. I mean, it's got some serious roots.
Right.
I mean,
Absolutely.
and people definitely love it. So that's
Yeah, I mean, if you look at different times in recent history where rockabilly's made an insurgent, like you had back in the '80s, the Blasters. You had the Polecats, of course, the Stray Cats.
The Stray Cats, yeah.
I mean, they were the monsters, really. So it had that big boom, and then you had all these artists writing that, and then like I remember Brian Setzer resurged again, and then you had that whole Big Bad Voodoo Daddy and the Brian Setzer Orchestra. And
That was a little bit different, though. I mean, it wasn't necessarily, which I love. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't necessarily that sort of the classic rockabilly sound that sort of the Stray Cats, which were expanding on for sure.
Yeah.
But Brian, he went off.
Now you got guys like J.D. McPherson.
I don't know, JD.
Oh,
You got to check him out.
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's playing it out in Newburyport on Sunday too. Like
Oh, yeah?
really, really up and coming, real hot
nice.
right now.
All right.
I thought it was a Lost Little Richard track the first
Yeah.
time I heard
Really?
it. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
have to look that up. Remind me to write that down for sure.
Yeah, J.D. McPherson.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, I'm just happy that it's making a resurgence, if that's
yeah.
the right word.
Yeah.
Because I think it's got such great energy, and it makes people move, and I love that.
Yeah, yeah. It's not uptight music. That's
right,
for sure.
that's for sure. What time is it here? Time right now is about 20 minutes before the hour of 5 o'clock. You want to do another live thing, and then we can?
Sure.
You guys are here for the duration, right?
Sure.
You don't care.
Let's see. You want to go back to something on the album? Want to do Keep It Up or do Dead Man Walking?
Sure.
All right, let's do Dead Man Walking.
All right, I know.
This one's kind of a cool little number that Alyssa and I wrote, and we call this kind of like our twisted love song. Well, I've done bad things, got a record to prove it. If you got a match, I'd be happy to burn it. If you got the time, I got a story to tell. There's a couple of gals who want my execution. Front row seat to electrocution. Now they're laughing, 'cause what I got is worse. I've been a dead man walking a time or two. Instead of the chair, they gave me life with you. Clickety-clack, baby, boom, boom, boom. Nails on the coffin, turning the screw. As long as I'm here, serving time with you. Two of us stuck here in this cell. Every day's a perfect living hell. I can plan my escape. Some other guy'll take the fall. But both of us know we'll be back in these walls, running around crazy up and down these halls, shanking each other in the prison yard. I've been a dead man walking a time or two. Instead of the chair, they gave me life with you. Clickety-clack, baby, boom, boom, boom. Nails on the coffin, turning the screw. As long as I'm here, serving time with you. Ladies and gentlemen, John Cortez. Time, you know it's true, but you ain't so pure, you deserve me too. While I've been away, you've been a bad, bad girl. And the only rations that we ever need, cheap box of wine and a bag of green, saggy old bed, rabbit ear TV. I've been a dead man walking a time or two. Instead of the chair, they gave me life with you. Clickety-clack, baby, boom, boom, boom. Nails on the coffin, turn the screw. As long as I'm here, serving time with you. Clickety-clack, baby, boom, boom, boom. Nails on the coffin, turn the screw. As long as I'm here, serving time with you. As long as I'm here.
Dead Man Walking. That was Whiskey Kill live in the WSCA studios.
And that is off Pissed Off Betty.
Pissed Off Betty's the debut album from this band. I encourage you to, if you like what you're hearing today, I encourage you to go and check it out. But I encourage you definitely to check out Whiskey Kill on Facebook and whiskeykill.com. I'm sure that'll be updated
Yes,
soon, because
we'll be
it is a
updating
cool
that tonight.
website. It just needs to be updated a little bit. But
Yeah.
but one way or another, I encourage you to support them because they are a local band doing great stuff. Whether you see them at a car show, whether you see them at one of the local shows here in town or farther afield, or whether you just check them out online, I encourage you to do that because these guys are making great stuff, and we really appreciate what they're
Thanks,
doing.
Sean.
Time right now is about 10 minutes before the hour. It's time for one more live thing if you got one in you.
Oh, well, I guess we really should do Tokyo Rose.
Tokyo Rose.
Yeah,
Tokyo
that's
Rose
kind
is
of
good.
a...
Tell me about that song, too. It's a great song.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Very
Well,
educational.
yes.
It is.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank God for Wikipedia and the internet, Google. Well, I sort of had this bit that I was playing around with, and I had this chorus going, and it's, well, the chorus that you hear. And I had this image, and I started writing about Tokyo Rose, that she really was subversive. But that's not really the true story at all. I had no idea. It's completely, I completely bought the whole line, like from MASH, you know. She really was an American citizen who was, this was all against her will. The stuff that she did in World War II to try to demoralize the troops. And she never gave away any classified information. Alyssa did some research on it, and she said, "Hey, no, wait, you're writing kind of the wrong song." So she penned really most of the verses on this.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So we put those two together, and came up with Tokyo Rose, and it's really to kind of a very familiar kind of melody, and so yeah, I love it. I call it, a real American hero that's very, very misunderstood.
All right, right
This
on.
is Tokyo Rose.
It's a good song.
They'll be rocking Okinawa, dancing on the midway up, with the Tokyo Rose blasting on the radio dial. And if you think you know the story, it's all been a pack of lies. A pretty young girl with a red band in her hair. Granddaddy built the rails in the San Francisco dust. But when mama gives the order, it's Tokyo above. Cherry red bombs dropping on U.S. shores, with he where he just been banging on her back door. Working on a radio in a place you never been before. They'll be rocking Okinawa, dancing on the midway up, with the Tokyo Rose blasting on the radio dial. And if you think you know the story, it's all been a pack of lies. Hey, Johnny! Handed her a paper, so girl, you better read these lines. It don't matter if you're rooting for the other side, or with your sultry lies, spinning sweet for young GIs. I promise lots of money for signing on the dotted line. The American dream, a picture in the New York Times. The judge branded her a traitor and called it a capital crime. They'll be rocking Okinawa, dancing on the midway up, with the Tokyo Rose blasting on the radio dial. And if you think you know the story, it's all been a pack of lies. One more time, Johnny. Rocking Okinawa. They'll be rocking Okinawa. Woo! Yeah. The big rock ending.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Song called Tokyo Rose, Whiskey Kill, live in the WSCA studios. Absolutely fantastic. Tom Ferry, John Cortez. What, is that right? Did I have that right? All right, good. I was wondering. It sounded too Spanish. when I said that for some reason.
That's what Jose says to him.
Irish Mexican.
Nice.
Well, I gotta say thanks so much, guys, for coming
Sean,
in. It was
thank
so
you
much fun.
So much for having us.
Yeah, what a
We've been
blast.
talking about this. I'm glad we did it.
And good luck with the new album, and good luck with everything. Actually,
Thanks, Sean.
I hope
Thanks.
things continue to roll because
Yeah,
I
hope
just
to
love
catch
your
you out
sound.
soon.
Oh yeah, you bet, man. We're gonna definitely check you out, and I want everyone out there listening and anyone watching as well to check this band out as well. Time right now is about 5 minutes before the hour of 5 o'clock, and you are listening to WSCA-LP Portsmouth Community Radio. And the name of the show is Stay Tuned. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in at home, and I want to thank everyone for tuning in on the radio. And I think I'm going to end with a song called Get Yourself Right. And this is off Pissed Off Betty. Again, it's Whiskey Kill. If I hitting the right buttons
It's
here.
our Twisted Preacher song.
A twisted preacher, and that's my favorite type of preachers. This is a song called Get Yourself Right. We'll be back in just a minute to say goodbye.
Don't believe in hell, put your head in there someday. Can't buy into heaven, cause you got no pocket change. Read what the watchtower said. Come inside, son, and get yourself right. Find sweet salvation from all your carnal crimes. Praise the Holy Spirit, faith instead of wine. Oh, sister, walk this way. Now come inside, girl, and get yourself saved. Yeah, you believe in Jesus.
That was awesome, guys. Holy crap.